Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is cooperatives, monitoring and policies. Cooperatives are the large business organization formed to fulfill the requirement of the members. And there are different types of cooperatives, particularly the agriculture cooperative we found in India, like agriculture credit cooperative societies. We have the consumer cooperative society. We have the horticultural cooperative society. We have the fertilizer production cooperative society. So there are different types of cooperative societies available in India, and the performance of this cooperative society actually affects the large number of the people, even the society also, because the people who have become the member of this society, they have the limited resources, and their limited resources are the part of the money which are being used to conduct the business of the cooperative society. So the functioning or the performance of the cooperative society affects the large number of the people, and there are different systems to monitor the cooperative society, functioning of the cooperative society. Government also monitor the cooperative society through the registrar of the cooperatives. He conducted the inspection, the uh, registrar arranged for the auditing of the cooperative societies, and many times he appoints some committee also to monitor the activities, and the cooperative themselves, they can also monitor their activities through the general body meeting or general assembly of the cooperative society. So there are set mechanism is there to monitor the activities of the cooperative societies. And there are tough competition from the private sectors. The private sector, they have the flexibility in their the activities. They can take the fast decision based on the marketing situation. So in order to provide the flexibility or autonomy to the cooperative sector, the government of India, they have brought different legislations, rules, and policy. And in 2002, the government of India has brought the national cooperative policies that provide a kind of the flexibility and autonomy and that provide the basically the reduction of the government share in the cooperative society, so they can take the full decisions and decision with autonomy, and so that they can compete with the private sectors. Actually, after the liberalization in 1995, there was tough competition from the private organization, and the in order to match the decision power of the cooperative society, the autonomy were provided to the cooperative sector. So in this session, basically, we are going to discuss about the cooperative monitoring and the cooperative policy in India. So learning objective of this session is to learn about the areas on which monitoring is required. So what are the functional area where the monitoring is required, we are going to learn. Then we will discuss the cooperative monitoring structures from the government side, from the cooperative side. Then we will find out the need of the national policies for cooperatives. So what are the need, why national policy in cooperative is required. Then we will discuss, or we will state basically the objectives and features of the national cooperative policy. So let us start with the monitoring. Monitoring and evaluation of cooperative is done basically two levels. One is the government level, another is the cooperative level. So government do through the registrar of cooperative, and the cooperative, they do the monitoring through the general body meeting. And there are different factors on which monitoring is very critical for the successful functioning of the cooperative society. So like the cooperative should work or should operate basically with the provisions of the cooperative law. So here we need to monitor that the cooperative is working whether according to the provisions of cooperative law or not. Then we have to also see that cooperative organization, they are observing the rules or guidelines issued from time to time by the registrar of cooperatives. So all the rules and regulation, whether cooperative is following or not, we have to monitor. Then we have to monitor the financial and other interest of the members, whether they are safe or they are well protected by the cooperative society, and then whether the cooperative is following all procedures in respect of the bookkeeping, case handling, the inventory management and other assets. So here also we need to monitor the cooperative society. Then is there any conflict in the cooperatives among the members, and whether the cooperative has some conflict with other cooperative organization. So we need to have monitoring on the conflicting issues of the monitoring. Then democratic structure is being followed or not, we have to monitor. So for that purpose we have to see the government see that election are being held on time to select the general committee or managing committee, or board of director. So and this selection process, the election process should be conducted in democratic or in fair manner, so that there should be maximum participation of the member of the society in electing the board of director or managing committee. Then also, monitoring is required whether the annual general meeting is happening or not. So it should be, conducted in time manner, in timely, or also there should be sufficient or adequate notice should be given to the members. So they should have sufficient time to attend the meeting. So it should be planned in advance. It should be properly informed to the member. There's in a general meeting, general body meeting is going to be held, on a particular date and time with their agenda. The issues which will be discussed in the next general body meeting should also be informed to the member. Then there is monitoring is also required on the distribution of the share, whether some members have obtained more share than the limits prescribed in the law and society on bylaws. So we need to see. Then we have to do the monitoring about the reports, like whether general body has received the annual reports from the managing committee, or the audit report from the auditing committee, or or inspection report, or this all these reports should be ratified in the in general body meeting. And then also the auditing is an important tool of the monitoring of the cooperative organization. Here proper and regular auditing of the cooperative and proper ratification of audit objections has been adequately met or not. That's the type of monitoring we need to have in the cooperative organization. And there are different devices used by the registrar of the cooperative for the monitoring of the cooperative society. The accounts of the cooperative that can be audited by the cooperative auditors if required. So registrar of cooperative, they can appoint the auditor, and that auditor can audit the account of the cooperative society. And then registrar can ask the cooperative society to convene the general body meeting and discuss the performance of the cooperative society in the meeting. Then registrar of cooperative society, he can appoint election officer for the selection of the for the election of the managing committee. And then he can also ask the cooperative society to amend its bylaws, because if the registrar of cooperative found that there is some problem, there is a modification is required in the bylaws for the proper functioning of the cooperative society, he can ask the cooperative society to amend the cooperative laws or this bylaws, and required the registrar of cooperative can remove the managing committee if the registrar of cooperative found the managing committee is not working with very effectively or very efficiently, there is some problem of corruption. In that condition, the registrar of cooperative can remove the managing committee, and the registrar can ask the general body to elect the new the managing committee. And there are different persons or staff available for the monitoring purpose, like registrar of the cooperative society at the state level, he is there. or she is there, and then we have this additional registrar, then we have the joint registrar, and at the district level there are deputy registrar or assistant registrar are also there, and there are inspectors and auditor of cooperative society are there. So there are different personnel available for the proper monitoring of the cooperative society, and they can undertake the activities regarding monitoring and the progress of the cooperative society through the inspection of the cooperative society, through the auditing of the cooperative society, or by evaluating or by inspecting the records, assets, and everything they can evaluate, and they can give direction to the cooperative society. And the monitoring mechanism by the cooperative society itself, they have the well established system, and basically the general body meeting is the supreme body of the cooperative society, where the all the member of the society, they are the part of the general body meeting, and basically it has authority to remove or re-elect the managing committee or the board of directors. So they have the full powers. They can remove the or they can re-elect the managing committee, and basically the general body meeting undertake the amendments in the bylaw is required in case the bylaws need a change, or if the bylaws are defective, so they can take the amendments, and these amendments has to be registered by the registrar of the cooperative society. And the member of the general body meeting can also ask for a special or extraordinary meeting to discuss the problem of the committee. So if required, a special meeting can be organized of the general body meeting. Other than the annual general body meeting, extra meeting can be organized, and they can issue, they can discuss the issues or problem of the cooperative society on a particular aspect. And then we have the managing committee or board of director. Basically they are the functional head of the cooperative society, and they do all the activities. And basically the managing committee, they feel there is some changes are required in the cooperative policies or in the program and business line of the cooperative society, then they can propose, the committee managing committee can propose the things to the general body meeting, and basically purpose is to solve the problem of the cooperative society, because the board of directors, they are basically the member of the cooperative society who have been elected by the general member or general body of the cooperative society to head to organize the activity of the cooperative society. And the general committee, they can remove the general manager or other personnel in order to make the operation efficiently. And then we have the audit and audit supervision and special committee. So it's basically the general body who appoint the in the auditing committee, or the sometimes even the managing committee, they can appoint some special committee to tackle some special problem. So this committee can also highlight the problem of the cooperative society, and they can suggest to the general body of the member and the required reforms and improvement to make the operation efficiently, to operation of efficiently or to work efficiently and responsive to the need of the member. And now we'll move to the national policy on cooperative. There are different types of problems and constraints in the cooperative sectors. Like we have the problems related to the legislative and policy constraints, because some of the legislations, the bylaws of the cooperative society, they do not allow the flexibility in the cooperative society. Even the policy constraints are, there are predefined procedures are there, so they do not provide a kind of the autonomy in selecting the business activities and selecting the business line, to have the MOU with other organizations, the private organizations. So there are various limitations from the legislative or policy side. And then there are a number of the restrictive restrictions are there from the legislation side, from the policy sides. So they are not open, they are not flexible, and everything has to be go through the general body. So there is only the annual meeting. So there is a kind of foundation on the the activity of the activity of the cooperative society. So these are the the very important constants. So they do not allow the open or flexible functioning of the cooperative society that restrict their business activity. Then another constants in case of the cooperative sector is the resource constants. They have the limited funds with them. The because the members are very resource poor farmers sometimes, the consumers, so they have very limited fund with them, and their managerial the capacity or the managerial competency also, it at not par as per the private organization. So they are not able to mobilize the resources which are required for the business operation, or like big corporate house. So they have the resource constraints in terms of the availability of the finance, in terms of the availability of the the machineries or technologies, or the personnel. So there are a lot of resource constraints are there. So because of this resource constraints, they could not organize their activity in timely manner. If there is a fertilizer cooperative society, so they have to do the production activity, then they have to do the distribution activities. So if there is no resources available, then they will be not able to do. So resource constraints is another important constraints in case of the cooperative sector. Then the infrastructure constraints, because they are the business organization. They need all type of the resources, like the private organization or public sector organization. They need to have the warehousing, they need to have the storage facility, they need to have the the sale point facility, all sales point facility. They need to have the transportation facility. The cooperatives are related to the fruits and vegetables. They need to have the cold storage facilities. So all types of infrastructure they need. ICT infrastructure. So there are different infrastructure constraints are there, and because they have the limited fund available with them, they cannot invest in building the infrastructure concerns. So they depend on the government sectors. So for proper functioning, we need to remove this infrastructure constraints. And then institutional constraints are also there, because there are organization structure, though it is very defined, but they are not able to take the decision with full autonomy. Sometimes the political influences are also there, and so there are institutional constraints are also there with the cooperative sector. And the another important concern is the awareness of the member of the cooperative society. In the members are not aware about the objective of the cooperative society. They are not aware about the bylaws of the cooperative society. They are not aware about the functioning, in which area the cooperative is functioning. The target groups, the activities. They are not aware about the principle of the cooperative or value of the cooperative. So there are different uh, awareness concerns. So even we need to have the proper training or capacity building program for the cooperative members, so that they can contribute in fruitful manner. They should contribute as a beneficial member. So that's why we need to improve the awareness of the cooperative society member by doing a lot of training activities or by providing education to them. And there are constants arising out of the excessive government control of the cooperative functioning. And sometimes we have observing there is needless political interferences. All the decisions of the the cooperative organization is influenced by some political leaders, because they have influence on that particular locality. So they also influence the decisions of the cooperative organizations. So sometimes they made that decisions or that influences may not be good for the proper the viability of the cooperative organization. So There are a lot of constraints due to the excessive government control and due to the political influence in the cooperative organization. So there was, it was a felt need that we should develop some policy on the cooperative organization, and particularly after the changing scenario due to the globalization and liberalization. The purpose was to though there are a lot of good or positive impact of the cooperative society, but due to the some internal or in the structural weaknesses, they are not able to work fully, and they are not able to bring this positive impact on the society. So actually, because they do not have proper policy support, so there is a need to have policy support to the cooperative organization. And the another purpose of the bringing the policy on cooperative, there was a wide regional imbalance in the development of cooperative organization. In some of the states, in the cooperative organizations are there, in some of the institutions, in the cooperative organizations are not there. If the organizations are there, they are not working properly, with their full capacity. So there is a wide regional imbalances there in the different regions. So and there is a need for clear-cut national policy on the cooperative to enable a sustainable development of the cooperative organization, and to enable the growth of the healthy and self-reliant cooperatives for meeting the sectoral and regional aspiration of the people. So actually, we need to bring some national policy which help in the growth of the healthy and self-reliant cooperative society, to meet the sectoral requirement, agriculture sector requirement, credit requirement, or consumer requirement, and also to fulfill the regional aspiration of the people through the cooperative organization. So there are different objectives of the national policy on cooperative. The first objective is to ensure cooperative functioning in a manner that follow the basic cooperative values and principles. So we want to promote the cooperative values and principles which are defined by the International Cooperative Alliance. So all these principles should be followed in the functioning of the cooperative society. Then another objective of the national policy on cooperative is to revitalize the cooperative structures, and there was a need to reduce the regional imbalances and through the provision of the support measures by the central government and state governments. So basically, the objective of the national policy is to provide the support to the cooperative organization where the cooperative organizations are not there. Then the another objective of the national policy on cooperative organization is to strengthen the cooperative education and training system for the human resource development in the cooperative sector, and there was a need to have a greater participation of the member in the management of cooperative society. So to promote the greater participation in cooperative society, we need to have the national policy on cooperative. And also, sometimes there is a need for amendments and removal of the provisions which are restrictive for the cooperative functioning. So this cooperative restrictive cooperative laws need to be amended, need to be removed. That is also a function of the objective of policy. And the another objective of national policy on cooperative is to evolve a system of integrated cooperative structure by entrusting the federation the role of the promotion, guidance, and information system. So we have the state federation of the cooperative society. So through the national cooperative policy, the objective is to provide them the promotional role, the as a guidance role, and they also have the information system for promoting the cooperative society in the states. And then evolve a system of inbuilt mechanism to ensure timely conduct of the general body meeting, the election, then audit of the cooperative society. So basically, the national policy on cooperative actually it aims to bring some inbuilt mechanism in the cooperative society. So it automatically promote to conduct the general body meeting or the election or the audit of the cooperative society. And then the other objective of the National Cooperative Society is to ensure that the benefit of the cooperative endure reach to the poor section of the society. So how to bring this the benefit of the cooperative endeavor to the reach, that type of system we need to promote. And basically it can be done by encouraging the participation of this poor section of the society, particularly the women, in the cooperative functioning. And there are different statements given in the national policy uh, on the cooperatives which guide the functioning of the cooperative organization. Basically they are the intention of the national policy. So basically the national policy on cooperative, they recognize the cooperative as autonomous enterprises as defined in the International Cooperative Alliance Cooperative Identity Statement. And then the national policy upholds the distinct identity of the cooperative, its values and principles. Then it recognizes the cooperative as a distinct economic sectors and integral component of the socio-economic system. It is important sectors like the private sector, the public sector. So the national policy also recognizes the cooperative as a distinct economic sector. And then the national policies says that cooperatives should be the preferred instruments of execution of the public policy, especially in the rural areas. And the government role to be restricted only to the conduct of timely elections, the audit of the cooperative organization, and to protect and safeguard the interest of the member and stakeholder, and incorporation and the creation of the new the cooperative society. So government role is only should be the very limited role for the basically that is only for the fair functioning of the cooperative society, like conduction of the election, the participation of the promoting participation of the stakeholders or member, also incorporating the new cooperative society. Then the National Cooperative Policy, it treated and it reinforced its commitment to cause of the SC, ST, women, on other weaker section of the society. So basically, the national policy says that we should develop the special cooperatives on the backward community or weaker section of society, particularly for women cooperative societies, to bring them, the improvement in their livelihood, in their, in the standards of living. And the national policy also says that there is a need to have the phasing out of the government shareholding in the cooperative society, so that it enables cooperative to set up the like holding company or subsidiaries or enter into a strategic partnership with other sectors. And the national policy basically argued the government to provide the level playing field to the cooperative vis-a-vis the private sector. And basically national cooperatives policy also recognize more effective regulation of the cooperatives operating in the financial sector and accepting the public deposit. It asks that we should provide the preferential treatment to the cooperative organization, government support to the development of the human resources or the development of cooperative education and training, and there should be the cooperative should have the appropriate technology and infrastructure facility. And then the national policy also asks for the structural reforms to improve the functioning of the cooperative. And basically it asks for enhancing the member participations and activating of the idle membership. So those members who are not participating in the cooperative organization, they should be actively participate. And it asks for the national cooperative asks for the appropriate personnel policy, the recruitment of the staff, and also it says about the introduction of the electoral reforms through the legislative measures. So there should be fair election in the cooperative society. And now we can sum up this session that the monitoring and evaluation of cooperative is to be done at two levels. Basically at the government level and the cooperative society, they can also do the monitoring them from themselves. And then there are various aspects on which the monitoring is required. And there are different ways or personals for cooperative monitoring. And the national policy on cooperative has been evolved in 2002, and basically purpose is to enable the sustained development and growth of healthy and self-reliant cooperatives for meeting the sectoral, regional aspiration of the people in conjunction with the principle of the cooperation. And the cooperatives should be recognized. The ideology of the cooperative, which is basically based on the principle of self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, and solidarity, and the cooperative value. Thank you very much.